Today, we're going to go over 3 simple exercises to help your knees stop hurting quickly and effectively. If you want to get control of your knee pain, you need to get your brain and your knees talking to each other. And this will let your body know that it is safe to move. If your knees are still hurting, even after doing countless stretches or taking painkillers, there's likely a mismatch between how your brain thinks you're doing and how your knees are actually doing. So we need to solve this problem. So in this video, we are going to go over 3 exercises I would do to help rebuild the brain-knee connection and help reduce your knee pain quickly and effectively. By the way, I'm Mike, I'm a chiropractor and a master's of science in exercise, and I love helping people get out of their knee pain. It's all I do every day. So let's get started. Now, a quick disclaimer, this information is meant to be educational only. Please check with your trusted health professional or your doctor to see if anything I talk about in this video applies to you and your unique circumstances. Now, a quick thing we want to do before we get started on the exercises is check where we are at in terms of a baseline with our pain, as well as some quick movements, okay? So what we're going to do is look at a pain scale from 0 to 10, 0 being absolutely no pain, 10 out of 10 being the worst pain you've ever felt. So typically when people start or they're doing these exercises, they're at a 6 or a 7 out of 10, right? It's bad enough that we want to do something about it, but it's not so bad that we feel like we have to go to the hospital. Right, so we are starting at maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10, and then we are going to look and see maybe some movements that we feel like we can't do. So maybe some assisted squats or even just a certain place that we can bend our knee to. We want to take that, keep that in mind. And at the end of these exercises, we are going to check and see both how our pain is doing, how far it's come down, and then how those movements that we were doing are doing then. Now, this first exercise we are going to do is not going to directly involve our knee at all. What we are actually going to do is a vision exercise. Now, quickly, why this is important is that our vision, our balance system in our ears, our brain, and our knee joints and the nerves that control those joints all communicate together to figure out where exactly our joint is in space, how stable it is. And so if any one of those systems are misfiring or there's a miscommunication there, often that can produce the sensation of pain from the brain as a protective mechanism against any further damage or a perception that it isn't safe to do that movement. So when we are doing exercises that are proactively taking care of the movements that we're trying to do, what we want to do is not miss any of these systems that are feeding information into our brain and into our joints so that we can kind of have a holistic picture of where the pain is coming from, and we're addressing all aspects of our body's communication patterns. All right, so this first exercise with our vision is we're going to take either our finger, or if we have a pen, we can use that. And what we want to do is we're going to look at it straight ahead of us, okay? We're going to hold it in front of us with an outstretched arm as far as we can. Then what we are going to do is we are going to keep our eyes focused on it, and we are then going to slowly bring it in to our nose, and either until it turns into double vision right here. So if we start to see 2 pens, that's as far as we would go. Then we would start going back out again like this, okay? If we can bring it all the way to our nose without it turning into 2, like I can do that right now, then we would touch our nose and remaining focused on it, go all the way back out in front of us like that, okay? I'll do a rotation to the side just to show you another angle, okay? So we can do this like that, all the way out, and then back in, just like that. And we're always keeping our eyes focused on the pen as it moves slowly. Now, the speed that we want to go is about this speed, all right? So not fast, but also not so slow that we start to get tired or bored, okay? So ideally, the amount that we want to do this would be 8 to 10 times. So doing it out and in and out again, that's 1 time. So we can do 8 to 10 of those, and we would take a rest after doing 8 to 10 of them, and then we would do a second set. So 8 to 10 is 1 set, and then another 8 to 10 is a second set. And if you're a part of the Knee Pain Freedom Challenge, what we would want to do is do 2 sets of those in the morning and then we can do 2 sets again in the evening. And that is exercise number 1. All right, so the second exercise that we're going to do is going to involve joints that are also connected and moving in tandem with our knee joint. However, they are a part of that system that, again, is communicating with our vision, our balance, all the other parts of our body in making sure that our knees are safe to move. And so this joint that we're going to be working is actually our elbow and our shoulder joint. Now, you might be wondering, how is that connected? Well, I'll quickly explain. So if we have knee pain in our right knee, okay, let's say our painful knee is the right knee, the reason why we are doing an exercise specifically on the opposite side of the knee that is hurting, so in this case it would be our left elbow and our left shoulder, is those joints are integrated anytime that we move our opposite knee, okay? So if there is a mismatch or, again, some restriction in that joint specifically, okay, all of that information is going to feed into how the right knee should be moving. And again, if the root cause of it is that mismatch, the knee pain that we're feeling, then what's going to happen is when we move and are deliberate in activating the motions in the elbow and in the shoulder, we are going to potentially see a reduction in pain in that right knee, because that is the pathway that feeds to the brain and is connected to when this knee is trying to move. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So for the second exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to put our elbow out in front of us like this. Our shoulder and our upper arm is going to be fairly straight, so not bent like this, but kind of like right here. Then what we're going to do is, as best as we can, we are going to move our elbow out. Now, our elbow can't really go much further out than this, so we're going to do kind of semicircles or half circles, okay? So as you notice, my arm drops, so what we can do is, if we need to, we can kind of support our elbow here, bring it back around. We want it to go kind of as far as it can without dropping our shoulder like this. Bring it in so that it circles under our chin, and then back around. So that's 1 circle. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Kind of open it up, nice and slow, bring it back around. Okay, so that's another round. Okay, so we want to do 8 to 10 of those, just like the first exercise. Okay, then what you would do is you would do 1 set, take a rest, do a second set, take a rest, and then you would do this exercise again, that group in the morning, and then in the evening, so twice a day, 2 sets. And that is exercise number 2. All right, so exercise number 3 is we are going to finally directly incorporate an aspect of our knee joint. We are going to work on it specifically to help it start moving more smoothly and to encourage it, to help it understand that it is strong and that it is safe to move. So what we are going to do is, again, for this example, my right knee is the painful knee, the knee I'm working on. We are going to either, if you can do it unassisted, that's great. If you need something to support yourself, a chair or a table to hold on to, that's perfectly all right. We are going to first kind of roll the skin around the knee ever so briefly. Okay, we can do a couple of circles just like that. You see how I'm kind of pinching and rolling? What this is doing is that there are little sensory receptors in our nerves that tell the brain that our knee is about to work. So it's kind of like a mini warm-up. Okay, so we can do that 2, 3, 4 times, just like that. Okay, then what we're going to do is we are going to go into the actual exercise here. So what we want to do is we want to stand kind of offset like this, and then we are going to bend our knee as far as we can before there is pain. Now, we don't want to go to the point where we're pushing through pain. If we feel pain, let's say it's right here, then we want to back off it a bit to where there's no pain, okay? Or it's just like a challenge, but it's not hurting or painful, okay? So we are going to bend down, have our knee over our toe as much as we can. Then what we are going to do is, if we want to hold on to kind of our upper thigh for stabilization, we can, okay? But what we are going to do is we are going to do knee circles, okay? So we're going to go back like this and kind of draw a slow circle. I mean, we can even think of it as like an oval, okay? Draw an oval out with our knee, then all the way back, and then out, and then all the way back. Now out to the side like that, and backwards, okay? Now what we're looking for is we are not going, first of all, we're not going fast, okay? We want to go slow and measured, okay? We can do 8 to 10 of those, and we want to make sure that we're doing them without pain. So again, if we get up to pain, make sure that we back off a little bit, try it again. If you're consistently, every time you do it, getting up to pain again, that's probably a good sign that you can just ease off and stop for the day. We probably hit our tolerance there, okay? But what we're also looking for is making sure that our feet stay flat, so we're not rolling or anything like that in this exercise. We're not trying to stress it in that way. We're also not lifting our toes or anything off the ground just yet. That comes on in later videos, okay, if you're a part of the knee pain freedom challenge that I have. So for now, we are just doing our best to challenge the knee joint in a safe, measured way, and basically getting it to move in such a way that tells it that it is safe to do so and that it is strong. And we're feeling the motion of the knee. We're focusing on how our knee feels, and we're also basically envisioning it moving smoothly, okay? So we're trying to find that sweet spot of good movement, minimal to no pain, and just fluid movement like that, okay? So you would do one set of 8 to 10 exercises. You can take a rest when you do that, okay? And then we would do a second set of exercises, so 8 to 10. And if you're part of the knee pain freedom challenge, we would do a set, 2 sets of those in the morning, and then 2 sets at night, okay? So hopefully that all makes sense, and that's exercise number 3. All right, so now that we are done all of those exercises, what we are going to do is we are going to do a post check, or kind of a recheck of how we were doing. So again, remember at the start, if we were doing these exercises and at the start we were at like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 in our pain intensity, we want to see now maybe we are at a 4 or a 3 out of 10, right? If that's the case, we've seen a marked improvement. That's awesome. If you notice that there was no change, that is absolutely okay. What we have done is we have introduced new motions into the body, and sometimes the body takes a little bit of time to have that reflect in our pain intensity and our ability to move. So be persistent, make sure that we stick with it. And now if it caused the pain to be worse, again, that's where you would go see your trusted health professional. But if we're kind of in that no change, or even better, we've seen a positive change, that means we've done good things for our body and we are moving in the right direction. Hopefully you found these videos useful. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe at the button below. If you want to do these exercises in a more structured format and be a part of the community, we have the Knee Pain Freedom Challenge. The link is in the description there. We'd love to have you. And otherwise, hope to see you in the next video. And remember to stay active. Thanks.